We have Pete Jensen here. He's been on the pre-show, I think, once, right, Pete? Once or
Twice
twice?
actually.
Oh, twice.
Twice,
Okay.
yeah.
And he was on the post-show, I think, once for a few minutes. And I think Pete's a real funny guy, and it's a pleasure to have him. And welcome, Pete.
I appreciate it, Chad. Thanks. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Yeah. So, just as a little background, me and Chad, we just wrote a couple questions for each other. What I've noticed is that there's so many fans of you, Chad. So many people are interested in you, into your content. And I just feel maybe a lot of people don't really know the Chad or the guy behind the Clearwater Chad moniker. So I wrote a couple questions down. Um, if you want to go into that immediately, or
that's great. Before that, I just want to mention your channel if you wanted to.
Sure. It's I believe it's just Jensen, youtube.com/Jensen Pete. I am broadcasting this simultaneously, and I'll put a link into the Discord. And Chad, if you don't mind putting in your description or something after this, I'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And there will be more content to come on my end. Just trying to figure out what my niche will be. I mean, I know SPTV and things of that nature are very interesting to me, but I'd also like to maybe have something else, like you have your own thing going with the walking tours and things like that. And I just need my own little little thing.
And Pete, in my opinion, it's half the fun is trying to you start something. Not that it goes bad, but you take another. You decide you don't want to do it, and you veer off somewhere else, and that's something that you hit on great, and that branches off to other things. And
one thing that you reminded me about when you said that is Kelly Copter, I believe, started her YouTube career doing Lego, and look where she is now. I mean,
right, absolutely,
yeah.
And so Poe on the go, he's pretty diverse. Like, I was going to say like I am, but I wasn't diverse in the beginning. I never thought that I would have anything to do with anything creative. And we'll go into your questions. But
I said if you take a look at those drawings behind you, I mean you've morphed into creative.
Thanks. Trying to spread the good luck and
good vibes.
And help the. Because I'm still a smaller creator, but I want to at least do my part in helping people, because people helped me get started. If people didn't help me get started, we had people like Poe on the go, and even Aaron gave me a bunch of shout outs, and people super chatting to Aaron about what I've done and stuff like that. You don't get that, so I try to at least. I believe in karma. Anything you do comes back to you.
Oh, sure. Sometimes even tenfold.
Absolutely.
I noticed during one of Aaron's lives the other day. This is just a comment. John Stastowski, who's a regular on your channel, and the Never Ends. He did a super chat during. Did you see the Natalie lawyer chick and Aaron live yesterday? Amazing.
I think a few minutes, but I think I probably missed whatever you're gonna.
Yeah, Natalie lawyer chick. I have been following actually for the past 2 years. She was in conjunction with a guy who sort of outed sovereign citizens. He would poke fun of him on his channel, and to see them two together was a blast. But getting back to what I was about to say, John Stastowski had made a comment, and Aaron knew exactly who John was. I mean, you comment enough in these live streams, the big time creators will, they'll take notice of you, and every little bit helps. That name recognition, it really goes far.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I started out, and I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again. I started out in the comments for months because I never thought I would do anything like Clearwater Chad, and Aaron had the I don't know if you want to call it a challenge or whatever, but he said anyone that wants to call themselves Clearwater Chad, because he's doing the reaction videos of Tampa Brad.
That's what it was. Love. Tampa Brad, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's when I started watching Aaron before SPT, well before SPTV. He did the Grant ones, and then he did the Brad ones. And now I know almost nothing, even back then, about Scientology, other than that I watched the Leah show before that. But I used to love when he used to freeze the frame and be like, please, can somebody get this guy? Like, I forgot, one of them comments was a microphone, one of them was some Tums or something. Like, he would just go off for a whole minute. He's supposed to be doing the true reaction video, and he pauses it and just goes off. And I just thought that was the funniest thing in that, So when I did the character after the challenge, I always made sure I over-exaggerated those features and that's why I call him Levin Smith, is because one of his videos several years ago, the Marty one, Marty called him Levin Smith, and same thing. Aaron froze the screen, and he's like, my name is Aaron Smith Levin. Marty knows this. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but he went off for like a whole minute once again, so he's Levin Smith to me.
Hey, before we go any further, you want to give a couple shout out to the people in the chat here?
Oh, yeah.
We see, I see Juliana.
Yep, hey, Julie.
Hey, shouts out to Juliana. And Data. Hey, speaking of the devil, we were just talking about you, I think, right before we went live.
Oh,
Marcus.
Hey, Marcus, yeah.
Yeah. Beachcomber. And
yeah.
Nasty Nate. There he is.
And Chitsa.
Nasty is one of my all-time favorite First Amendment auditors, that's for sure.
Oh, I still, to this day, watch Nasty Nathaniel. He went on last night. Puts
out plenty of content, too, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly. And, I like his style. I like his style, how he reads the history of places that he audits, and,
and the funny ooh. I don't know.
Yep.
The sound effects really get me.
Yeah, he's a really good auditor and people person.
Now we were speaking. I don't know if we were live. I know we were speaking before we were live, but what I did is I put a couple questions for Chad and for myself, because I said, everyone knows Chad as Clearwater Chad in the SPT universe, but do we really know Clearwater Chad? Do we really know him? So I wrote a couple of questions, nothing too personal, and actually some are pretty interesting. And I don't know if you want to break into that now.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if anyone else has any questions after that in the chat, that's great. Sure. Yeah, whenever
figure we go for an hour and a half, something like that, and we'll go from there. So here's just a let me see if I can bring up my email here. Okay, so I got a couple questions. And of course, we're not going to get too specific on personal information here. But one of the questions I wrote, Chad, where did you grow up?
I grew up, and like you said, I'm not going to say a specific town, but I grew up in a suburb of Buffalo, New York, my whole life. And so that's where that's why I'm in. I don't know about other towns, but there's Buffalo, and then there's about 20 to 30 little towns, and some are country and some are city-like, and it's a pretty big place. So,
would you say you're more in a suburb, or you a big city man?
No, definitely suburb. Suburb, but
that's the way to go.
Yeah,
a little more peaceful, definitely. Right?
Yeah, it's just enough of a good mix of, you can still get to a store within like 5-10 minutes,
And it affords you the opportunity to, venture out to those sites that you go to, those waterfalls and picturesque views I was constantly seeing on your channel.
And I don't want to veer off too much in the weeds, but I do love now, because of the channel, I do love going to different sites. I would have never went to any of these places if I didn't have a channel. Maybe one, but not.
Hey, it's good cardio too, eh?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I do need to exercise if you have a bad back.
Sure. You have a bad back as well?
Yeah, you too?
I was in a car accident, and I think it was my freshman year of high school. And I had broke my lower vertebrae, my pelvis, and I was actually, I was in Westchester Medical Center for a good month, but fortunately no surgery, but everything just sort of fused and healed itself back together. But that was a time, man. Being in the hospital for a month and then just laid up in bed at home for another 3. That was something else.
Yeah, backs are very delicate, aren't they?
You're
I mean,
telling
I
me,
think
man.
so. Yeah, you can't,
And you know what it was too? You get this adrenaline when you get out of the accident. You want to stand up, but as some people who may be EMS trained, you want to be stabilized and do not move when you get out of an accident like that
oh,
because
okay.
you'll do more damage uh,
Oh, so
moving
that is true.
around.
I have heard
Yeah, you'll
that.
do more
Yeah.
damage moving around than if you were to just hang out and wait for the EMTs. Uh, Second question I had is just a little bit of a follow up. I said, how long have you been living, where you're currently at? Are you still in the same general locale of where you grew up?
Oh yeah, yeah. Same
Y-
same general. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I grew up Staten Island, New York. My dad was a fire department, and he
Oh,
retired.
okay.
He retired after 9/11,
I don't
and
blame him
we
there.
moved up. Yeah, well, he ended up getting sarcoidosis and a couple other lung diseases. So
Oh,
he's doing slightly better. I mean, he's doing better actually.
that's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a little sad, but we'll move on from there.
Yeah,
Another
definitely. Yeah.
another great question though here, and this is actually how what I'm wondering, and you sort of covered this, is what got you into the anti-Scientology videos and the community. I guess did you find Tampa Brad first, or did you find Aaron's channel, or how did that work
Well,
out?
it's interesting because the first time I actually even heard the word Scientology that I remember was I was always a fan of Leah Remini stuff, the King of Queens, and
Oh,
she's in a
love that
couple
show.
episodes of Cheers and Saved by the Bell. So I was always a big fan of hers. And so when she had the A&E program, it was a natural for me to watch it, anything that she's in. And
Hmm.
I was just blown away by how crazy, no offense to anyone, Scientology, the stuff is. And I loved hearing. I know trying to be respectful of anyone that's because I know it's because I am one of the people that did like to watch that program as an outsider, so it's a lot different than watching it as an insider. As an
Yeah,
insider, it's hard to watch from what I hear. But
yeah.
as an outsider, I just thought this is some far out stuff. Anyways, so I'm done with that part. So fast forward a couple of years to watching AA run. I don't know how I started. You know, must have came up on my recommended videos, and
Sure.
like I said, I only was interested in him. I guess for the stories, like I just said about A&E, but the reaction to Grant and Brad was fascinating, and then it just led into the character, and that's about it.
Have you ever been into a Church of Scientology or a mission in person?
No, there's one in Buffalo, and it's just so quiet, and I
Yeah.
mean,
Is that a
you never.
mission or an org?
I don't fully know the difference. It's pretty big,
Sure, sure.
but I've
Okay.
never seen anyone really physically go in there. It's just really quiet, and you know,
Right,
there's not
right.
much going on in there.
Yeah. I personally got in. I forget who. Angry Satan was the individual who did the flyover of Gold Base, and I believe it was A. Ron and Mark Headley just going over what building was what. And I had known a little bit about Scientology. I'd actually been in the one in New York, and was just intrigued of just sort of how pushy they were, and just I'd really like to go back with a phone in my pocket and just record. Give a little inside scoop on what they're doing these days in terms of recruitment, and really how pushy they are in the New York City office there.
Yeah, those make great videos. And I did see the
Yeah,
one you're talking about, the flyover, when they were telling,
yeah, that was
what
great.
the buildings were, and it is
Sure.
crazy. And
So interesting. The running program had started at the international base. And if you are to look on Google Maps, you can actually see the tree, and you can actually see the worn out, worn out ground from people running around that tree. So
but
it was,
yeah. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Pete, but
no,
I
no,
could
no.
see how people can get. I would have been taken if I didn't know anything about Scientology, just because you have the lower levels that do work,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and by the time that you're in OT probably 3, you have to run with it because that's all you
yeah,
know at that point.
yep,
Especially for the Sea Org people that live there. What are
yeah,
they going to do? No one's going to talk to them when they leave. They don't won't have at least what they think is they won't have a job. So I could see how a lot of people stay until it's like Mark Headley used to say or still says. Excuse me. He said it came to a point. I think Rinder said, Mr. Mike Rinder said this too. They said, I might, if it's better off just either leaving or it doesn't even matter if I'm dead because that's how bad it is.
Yeah. I mean, imagine something came to that point in your life. It's just, I couldn't even fathom it. But
right. Yeah. Same here. But that's how desperate you have to be before it's like, okay,
Sure.
Because if they were just like Aaron's, I think Aaron says this, if they were just a little nicer, they'd at least retain at least some more people.
And even the kid thing. I mean, you'd think you'd want to bring, you'd think you'd want to allow Sea Org individuals to have children to keep the process moving. I understand why they don't, but it would seem in my mind only natural progression to and this is a horrible thing to say, but to indoctrinate children into Scientology via having children. They don't do that, and fortunately they don't do that. But you know what I'm trying 100%. To say here? Yeah.
Oh, I agree 100% because most of the other religions, and even some of the, I won't say the name of, whatever happened in Germany in the 30s and 40s, but they wanted bigger. They encouraged the wives to make babies and stuff, and
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I do agree that they, obviously not that we want them to grow, but that would be almost guaranteed Sea Org members right there.
It's just and
I
think this guy who's running the thing. I think common sense went out the window.
Yeah, the power went to his head, like everyone.
Yep.
Said, yeah.
All right, here's a good question I wrote, Chad, and be completely honest here. Sure. Has anyone ever recognized you in public? I mean, surely someone from the town must have recognized you, or
not yet. And I'd be
not yet.
Cut you off. I'd be. I mean, no. I would be so. I wouldn't even know how to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. At some point, if I keep doing this, which I do plan on doing, I think it'll take a couple of years. But I wouldn't even know how to respond.
Yeah. You mentioned last time we went live that your kids are big into the YouTubers, and what teens or younger children are not these days. How do they feel about their dad being essentially YouTube famous?
Yeah, well, I only have Chaz, 9-year-old Chaz. He loves it though. Yeah, he loves.
He does he?
Yeah, no, it's like I feel like I'm like the cool father because I have a YouTube channel that's actually monetized, and we do out videos when he wants, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where's your web shooter? Let's shoot a video or something,
Yeah. It's also on the other end of that spectrum is I've read some studies that in lieu of being a firefighter, public service jobs, more kids these days would rather be YouTube or influencers than professional jobs, which is sort of scary. I mean, of course, you got to instill education being an important part of growing up and in their lives, and just to make sure that this is strictly a hobby and education comes first.
Right, absolutely, because we do need some real people to go out there and do some real jobs out there. I mean, we it is fun and everything, but yeah, no, I agree.
I can't go to the mall without having to dodge 2 or 3 people TikTok dancing in front of me. So,
wow.
It's like a virus that spread, my man.
Yeah. No, I had to stop watching TikTok because I'm, just it's like I don't know, and I'm watching it and I'm like, this dude. I'll just give one example. He's like in a foreign country, and I can't believe I'm watching this. He's making like these little. He's got this machine, and these things are flying out. It's like water that's not even bottled. It's just in like plastic seal, and he's putting them and sorting them for different people. I'm assuming in some of the third world countries they have issues with water stability, but that's all he's doing for 8 to 10 or 12 hours. Is just you're watching an assembly line. I'm like, why am I watching this? I have to stop watching this.
Yeah. TikTok's dangerous like that because what are they?
Yeah.
15-second bites of movies or of videos. Just the amount of content you could consume in an hour is just unfathomable. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then some of them, right? They have like the ones on the street corners, and you're just watching the street corner for 8 hours. I'm like, I need to create my own stuff, not watch other people. A little bit, but
Yeah. Have you gotten good? I noticed you do a lot of lives and such. Have you gotten good or played around with video editing, or are you just strictly a live guy?
that's probably my next thing because I don't want
Yeah,
to not know how to do something, but I
sure.
just like to go live. I like to go out in the field, and I like to go out to different places.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of always on the back burner. It's always like, oh yeah, I'll get to it someday. You
You
know,
don't have to deal with the editing, things like that. I mean, um, you have the responses in real time, which I think is great.
and the one thing too is I don't like my videos. Obviously, they're not all for shoots, but I don't like everything perfect. Life's not
Yeah.
perfect. You know what I mean? And
No,
I
no.
purposely, and I actually purposely, because the character Clearwater, whatever his name is, Brad, he's not a perfect dude. So I purposely will stutter and do all this weird stuff. So it's like I have people still inboxing me sometimes, like, "Are you okay? Like, you might need to go to the doctor." I'm like, "No, it's part of my script." So
Sure.
sometimes I will even send them the script if they don't believe me, because I do
I
like
have
to.
to. I have to take another look at his videos and just really realize how accurate you are to that.
Yeah, because
Chat
he
another.
does like the clearing his throat, and he'll even pump his
Yeah.
chest, and it's like he puts his hand back there, and so there's it's painful because originally I had to watch all that stuff like 50 times,
To
and
get
then
in
watch
character.
the AA run response like a dozen times to get, because I want to do what Aaron likes in the videos too.
Sure, sure. One thing you mentioned to me last time, and this stuck with me, is Pete. You know who you look like? Chris Elliott.
I wanted to ask you
I,
about that. Is you think that's true or no?
I
Yeah,
looked
you
him
do.
up. I looked him up. And I do want to say, yeah, there is a little resemblance there. Sure, sure.
And
I'll give it to you, Chad.
Yeah, and I also
I'll
think you're
give it
funny
to
like
you.
him too. Yeah, I also think you're funny like him.
I appreciate that.
He's
Have
probably
you
my
seen?
second favorite comedian.
Oh, he's great. He's great. Especially, I don't know if you've seen Schitt's Creek. Have you seen
Um, that's probably the one I
Amazing?
have, and I used to watch the Kid of Life show, and my brother was into that show, so I watched it too. And his
He
stuff
was
on Saturday
amazing.
Night Live, or stuff with David Letterman, I watch
Letterman,
religiously.
sure, sure, sure. If you do get time, Schitt's Creek, he
Oh, can I
was
write that down?
amazing. Yeah, it's spelled Schitt's.
Okay.
If there's any Schitt's Creek fans out here, I don't know, and I'm actually interested. Does anyone see a little Chris Elliott in me? Is Chad seeing things or not?
I think someone I gotta go back up. I think someone did say that they did. It's hard to keep track. I'm not good, guys. I'm not good at reading the comments in real time, especially when we're having fun like
Yeah,
this.
when we're talking, I'm not
They'll
looking.
forgive it though.
Shout out Tampa B man. He said, "Hey,
Oh,
hey
cool.
Tampa B
Hey,
man."
Tampa Bay man. Yeah, there's a lot of great people in here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, Getting back to my little list here I put together. Um, Hobbies aside from SBTV, I just wrote in parentheses sports fan, obviously hiking. Um, just basically when you're not YouTubing or watching YouTube, what do you really enjoy doing in your spare time? Do you like cooking or anything like that?
I actually don't like cooking, but I do it for my son Chaz, or at least I'm trying to learn.
Sure, sure.
But no, that's a great question about the hobbies. I did want to, excuse me, I do want to touch on that just a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
do, as people are starting to know, I do like environmentally responsible things like driving. Well, I used to have the pure electric car for 3 years, but nowadays I have a plug-in hybrid. My old car, my Prius. Well, nowadays they call it Prius Prime, but now when I bought it, it was a Prius plug-in, so it does both.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that I do. My house I have solar. I have the turnkey solar that you just pay someone to put panels on your house and you benefit. And then I do
I
I do
just
the
got that
12.
too.
Yeah. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, love it. Do you have the Tesla battery pack in your house?
No,
Or
man, I was thinking down the line I want either that or something from a competitor. Do you have the
yeah, I
Tesla
mean,
one?
yeah, I have this. I mean, it's not like I picked it out or anything. That was just the one that was offered, but
Okay,
it's got a cool couple features. Just one, I'll just speak on briefly.
sure.
Say a storm's coming down the road. Tesla, the app will recognize that the storm's coming, and it will fully charge, that battery you have. So when the power does go out, it's anticipating that. So you'll have a full charge of battery
Oh
uh,
wow.
for when the storm does eventually hit. So
Yeah, I did want that, and as you know, Pete, the systems are not cheap to have. So you're talking about a major loan.
right.
So it was already over 20,000. So I'm like, well, we'll get that later. We'll get it maybe in 5 years, and um,
I was offered some promotion from the government where I didn't pay anything to get it installed.
oh, that was for
Uh,
real.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
because I thought those were scams. Those ads.
Those commercials you see on YouTube all the
Yeah,
time, you get those too.
yeah.
Chad, I use a company called Sunrun.
Wow.
All I pay for is the renting of the panels.
Okay.
And God's honest truth is, my electricity bill has gone down. And essentially, if I am to generate more power than I use, that power gets sold back to the electric company, and I actually get a credit for it. I mean, I won't ever see any money because I'm actually, like I said, you do rent the panels at the end of the day, but it's not the commercial. Any YouTube video you're gonna ad you're gonna see, you're gonna question like, is this fishy? Is this a scam? And I don't fault you for thinking that, but I was surprised, man. It was legit.
Wow. I'll check into that because I do want more panels, and I do want that emergency. Um,
That battery backup.
yeah.
And I'll tell you one more thing, and this isn't to rub it in, Chad. They gave me $6,000 to go ahead and buy a generator.
Wow.
So not only do I have the backup battery, but they paid for a generator,
No,
which
you're definitely not rubbing it in because I'm the kind of person that's like, okay, I got my system, I'm happy with it, but I'll take another one. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure. I'm just
I'll
saying,
do
do
it.
your homework when
Yeah.
looking around again. For sure, there's a
Um,
lot of great options out there. So yeah, don't settle for the
it's
first guy
yeah.
who knocks on your door, and they will knock on doors.
Well, I mean, the one I'm real happy with the system I have. They, you know how you have to negotiate a little bit, blah blah
Oh
blah,
yeah,
and
sure.
they actually, I don't know how this came up. It was a newer company at the time. Thank God turned out to be reputable, but they actually put part of a new roof on my house too and built it into the price, and they took care of me and they cleaned up
Yeah.
the yard even more than what it was, and
Oof.
um, it's been
Jeez,
yeah, it's
they took
been
care of you.
yeah, no, and mine was in 2018, and I guess at the time the benefit to mine was for 2 years I got the tax, like I got a lot of money back on my taxes for about two
Sure.
years.
Yeah, you will get a tax break. I only got it a year ago, so
Oh,
that's
okay,
probably why things have changed there. Maybe even this government promotion had went into effect,
yeah,
later than 2018. So
they always have different catches, which is great. We want people to go solar
sure.
because we always have the people, which is fine. No disrespect to anyone that doesn't like solar, but people always talk about the power grids not being able to handle stuff, and I'm like, well, you guys realize I don't know about you, people, but I drive from Buffalo to like New York City and Albany and stuff for union work that I do, and there's all solar fields along the whole way. So you can't tell me that we're not cleaning up the grid year by year.
Oh, sure.
And if I have panels on my house, sure, in the wintertime when there's 10 feet of snow, not 10 feet, but when there's snow on the panels, sure, we're using some power, but we're not sucking down the power that we would have if we didn't have the panels.
Sure. Tampa Bay man said he has solar to heat your pool. Yeah, I used to
Oh,
have
that's great.
the old solar bubble cover. It was essentially like those poppy things you get in packaging, and the sun would heat that up, which in turn would heat up the pool, and that's how that went. But
Oh
if
wow,
I'm
that's
sure
cool.
Tampa Bay has something a little more involved in
Yeah,
that.
anything solar is great. And then Witness said they get a $7,000 credit for buying an EV, which is true. Yep.
How Tampa man also asked, does solar increase the resale value of your home? I am not 100% sure. I would imagine it would. But yeah, that's a question for Tampa B realtor man. So when he gets in here, we'll ask him.
Yeah, definitely. And I personally, what I personally think about that is, it depends on who's in the market for buying it. If somebody is like me or Pete, and you like solar, you're buying a house anyways. Even if it's two different houses, I'm going to buy the one with the solar panels.
It's like a pool, Chad. You know,
Yep.
it's a blessing or a curse to have in your
Yep.
house. Yeah, could either hurt you or help your
Yep.
property value. Do you get a lot of sun on your house?
Oh,
On
yeah,
those
because
panels?
it beats right on it all day. I
Yeah.
said, I could even put panels on the other side someday,
Sure. Yeah, you love
and
that. We
it
tried to
saves
keep
your roof.
Yeah, we tried to keep ours on the opposite side so you don't see it from the front of the house.
Oh,
But
okay.
but unfortunately, that is the darker side. You know what I mean? When the sun doesn't
Yeah,
hit those as much as it would had we had them in the front.
still cool.
All right, moving on here.
I know we both like. It's funny we both like something like that.
Yeah, we're giving a course in solar energy here.
That's how these things take off. You never know what you're gonna.
Maybe I found my niche.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know. Like I said.
Is this witness or witness?
Yeah, that's yep.
Missed the beginning, Chad. Where is Pete from? Pete, I am from Orange County, New York. I gotta say the exact town, but if you know where the Jehovah's Witness headquarters is, I am not too far from there. They moved out of Brooklyn when they sold their Watchtower building for billions of dollars. And much like Scientologists, the Jehovah's Witness, what they did was built their whole facility in-house. When I say in-house, the Jehovah's Witnesses did the construction of that facility, and man, I'll tell you, it went up in months.
Wow.
They seem to have known what they were doing. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, I better answer this super chat.
Yes,
Rokes,
sir.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Rokes is asking, still making the soap, Chad? I haven't lately, but I should do a video on it again to just do like a refresher, because I do like making the soaps. But that's a good question.
What kind of soap you make?
Oh, just the kind
the Fight Club special.
Yeah, let me see here. Well, I just buy whatever, but this one here is goat's milk, and you just melt it in the microwave, and you put it in the.
Oh wow!
You put the melted liquid in the containers and give it a few hours. Tap it out of there, and you got soap, which I do use for the washing my hands and stuff.
You should put a little get a little branding type thing on the top. Push it in, while the soap's still hardening. Make it Clearwater soap or something.
That'd be cool.
You might have your own business there, Chad.
Yeah, you never know.
Clearwater soap. It actually has a nice ring to it, to be honest.
I love the Clearwater name.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tampa B man.
And it's so funny how everyone is jumping on the Clearwater train. Clearwater, Norway. I love it too.
Thanks a lot, Tampa B man. It's really nice, you and Rokes. Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, the Clearwater thing is growing big time.
All right, here's another one. Chad, what would you say your favorite food is? I know you're not much of a cook, but say you went out.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I do want people to know.
What would it be?
Mainly spaghettis and pizza.
Spaghettis and pizza, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
I have my background. I'm Italian American, so that's kind of.
I was about to ask. All right, if you had to guess, what would you say my background was, ethnicity wise?
Oh, probably Irish.
That's on my mom's side, sure. Now, if you want to, the last name, go from there.
I don't know what that would be, though, based off the name.
I'll give you a hint. It's Scandinavian.
I don't know exactly what the. Oh,
Norwegian. Polish? Yeah. No,
Polish?
I'd have a ski at the end.
Okay, so Polish.
Yeah. No. I'm Norwegian.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that's that. Norski, as they say.
That's cool.
Um, Another thing about learning about Chad here. What would you say your favorite movie is, Chad?
I like anything 1980s. If I had to pick, obviously my favorite TV program is Night Rider. My favorite movie, probably probably Back to the Future.
Oh
Just a
yeah,
great movie. You
the
know,
original OG.
yeah, the original first one. I like them all. First one. I like the third one because it has a western theme.
I did a tour of the I think it was Universal or Paramount lot where they have the actual clock tower that they used in the movie.
Oh
That
wow.
was pretty cool. That was cool to see as a Back to the Future fan.
And if you didn't like Back to the Future would have been enough of a great movie, but they had to throw a DeLorean in there. I mean,
Yeah,
a stainless steel Goldwing car. You know what I mean?
love it.
Yeah, I love it. I love that
Yeah,
car.
yeah. I see. You see. Actually, I saw the Ghostbusters mobile really modded out the other day in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. They did a really good job on
Wow.
it. Okay, now bringing it back to Scientology here, Chad. If you could say one thing to current Scientologists that may sway their mind into leaving the cult, what would it be? Just from your knowledge of, uh,
It's a good question. Well, I just like Aaron kind of. Well, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but in the same direction as you don't want to try to convince them. The more you try to convince somebody of something, the more they're going to be like telling you why Scientology is great. But I would let them know about what I do in the community here at SPTV, um, and I would let them know I'm there to support them.
sure. Yeah, I
And
think the biggest thing is to just let them know that they have help out here.
yeah, yeah,
Life well, life is better on the outside, and just I think really those aftermath cards and making people aware of the aftermath foundation because it would be scary to just all is Scientology for your whole life and to
and
just
then
be thrown into the real world immediately.
and
You
yeah,
need a guiding hand, and you need a foundation like the aftermath foundation that'll help you get on your feet because it is
and yeah,
scary.
yep. And then having to admit that everything you've known and in practice
Everything and
aggressively
everyone.
is wrong. I mean, you will have those hardcore people that if they're happy there and they want to be there, I mean that's okay. But for the people that want to get out, we're there for them, like you said.
I wrote a question on Mitch Brisker's Facebook the other day, and I want to get your take on this. Have you seen the YouTube video of the gold base tour they give? It's just it's
The 1 minute,
uh,
yeah, I think so.
no,
Yeah, we gave him.
it's a professional Scientology video where they talk about all the great things they do in terms of production and translation
I don't
at
think I've
Gold
seen that
Base.
one. No.
Well, I'll send it to you after. But my
Okay.
question, the way they make it seem is that there's 20 different people constantly translating transcripts in an office. There's 15 other people in a records department. There's people constantly building sets, constantly shooting. My question is just how accurate really is that? I mean, do you think that these people are do you think they really have that many people dedicated to those specific assignments and those specific assignments only? And I don't know. It just seemed really far fetched and really made for TV or made for commercial when I watched it. I think Mitch would probably be the best person, or
He would know.
actually,
He would know a lot more than I would. Yeah.
yeah, even maybe anyone who worked at Gold, they'd have an idea of really just how well staffed they say they are and what it really comes out to be. So
I mean,
that's
I
interesting.
believe
Yeah.
that they're stressing on staffing now that we have so many channels. They can't keep up on.
Yeah. This is, I
Even if
think,
they could transcribe it, who's going to read all that stuff?
yeah,
Really, you know what I mean?
I guess it's in an effort to send Freedom Magazine out to, other countries and just,
Oh,
and
okay.
what. and whatnot. What was I just about to say? You
I
said
love all
something.
these. Yeah, I love all these new channels though.
Oh yes. The
I mean,
SPT.
I literally can't keep up on who's new and who's
Right.
who, but that's great. It's a great problem.
But yeah, what I was gonna say is this whole SPT movement, SPTV movement has really got OSA shaking in their boots, I believe.
Oh,
I mean,
I would definitely. They wouldn't be having all these
oof,
counterattacks if they weren't scared.
yeah. When you Google or when you YouTube Scientology, you have to dig for actual Scientology videos because there's just so many, so many content creators that are speaking negatively, but essentially the truth of Scientology and putting that out there. So if the internet wasn't heavily policed by Scientology for their members, it's gotta be, now it's gotta be double time because just the amount of information out there that's anti-Scientology is amazing. It used to be relegated to to blogs and Clambake and the kids of Scientology, but now it's just so accessible that
And even think back. I don't know if you were in the movement back then, but this is about I don't know if a year and a half. But there was Aaron, of course. There was Andrew Gold. There was Chris Shelton.
oh sure,
We had some of the like Marcus was around. It was a half dozen people, but that was it. You
yeah.
know,
And
uh,
now you got 6 dozen,
right? Yeah, you got all. Yeah,
and those were people that are constantly putting out content, and it's great. It's great.
yeah.
I mean, and you can't, as a Scientologist, if as a Scientologist browsing YouTube, they couldn't help but find this information, and obviously they're told to avoid it at all costs, but you know, uh, every time I was told to avoid something at all costs, it sort of made me want to look into it, right?
Oh, immediately.
yeah,
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 yeah. Of course you
Don't
have
put
to. I
your
don't
hand in
blame
the
you.
cookie jar, and
I'd be the same way.
yeah,
It's just human nature.
exactly,
Yeah, you
exactly.
can't tell someone they can't do something. They're gonna do it
Yeah,
immediately. I would too.
the self discipline that I guess some of them have, it's probably just more of a fear of the disconnection and losing your family. My another good question would be, say I'm a Scientologist and I did view what do they call it? I forget the term for material that you shouldn't be watching. And you get pulled into a sec check. I wonder how easy that would be to essentially lie your way through that sec check. I know you're on the e-meter, and I mean, say what you want about the e-meter. I don't really buy how accurate that is, or if it's accurate at all. It's more of, in my opinion, just how hard you squeeze those cans. But I wonder how hard, in all honesty, it would be to lie your way through a sec check. And maybe someone in the chat who has been a Scientologist here, uh, how easy that is. What do you
Well,
think, Chad?
from the little I know, I think it's 1/3 of a lie detector, if I'm not right. So you have to make sure, in my opinion, from listening to like Mark Headley, if you have you make sure you have a positive thought if you want the needle to do X, and a blah 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 if you want to do something else. So it's all about manipulating the system.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, you're right. It's not an exact thing just because you, but they think it's an exact thing is the problem, right?
Imagine thinking that's an exact science made
Yeah,
by
and they say the
children
meters.
and
Yeah, the meter's never wrong. Like you said, made by children. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
yeah,
Easy bake oven. If you look at them side by side, like Amy Scobie put, they're the same
exact,
thing.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wasn't
just different color, and it's
it?
ridiculous.
Remember creepy crawlers back in the day? When I think of Easy Bake Oven, I think of creepy crawlers.
No,
That was yeah, you put little gel into molds. And this is something I bet Marcus knows. I bet he played with creepy crawlers.
oh.
But
Thanks for joining us, Marcus.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely want to do a live with Marcus one day. He seems
Oh
to
yeah, he's really chill. He's a really good guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's a 90s head. He's got a lot of 90s music references too, and
Oh okay.
I think he'd be interesting to talk to.
Yeah,
What do you got?
definitely.
Birds out there, Chad?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
got the
hear
window open. Yeah.
'em.
His
I know
backyard's
you're
a little
all
overgrown, so yeah, the birds and the rabbits come back there. The
yeah.
backyard is fenced, so you know,
Mhm.
I'll
Well,
make
you
sure
keep
the
out the
front.
big
Yeah.
things. Keep out the big
Yeah.
guys, but birds
But
are,
no, but yeah,
that's
yeah.
heaven.
So it's a lot of wildlife back there.
You have any animals? Dogs, cats?
No, just really because I don't really have much time to,
Yeah,
you know. I bet
and
the
that's
animals are
fair.
looking at great. You gotta put a lot of time with you.
Uh,
Yeah,
Completely fair. It really makes me sad when you know, especially people who live in New York City, they go to a job 9 to 5 and they have their dog sitting at home all day. I mean,
yeah,
no offense to some people who do. I mean, there's different situations, but um, I'd look into a doggy daycare, and it's just unfair to the animals, in my
yeah.
opinion.
It's
But
definitely unfair. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So, what else we got here, Chad? What are you got plans for the weekend or what?
Let me think. Well, I mean, YouTube is taking over in a good way.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, I spend time with my son. You know, whatever he wants to do.
sure.
But my life kind of does revolve around YouTube. What's the next video I'm doing? The next live.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, and that's a good. It doesn't. I'm not saying it totally took over, but you know, I'm always
Speak
planning the next excursion.
Speaking about we were talking a little about editing videos and how you prefer the live to editing. I wouldn't mind getting into some classes. Everything's pretty much free these days on the internet. But taking some classes on Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or you know any sort of free equivalent for video editing that's user
Same here.
friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
I'd like
idea
to get
actually.
into that kind of stuff. You were mentioning something last time that you said Kellycopter used. It was some sort of program you were interested
Yeah,
in.
let me think what it was now. I wrote it down. It's not in this room,
Yeah,
but was
don't
it?
worry about it.
Oh, yeah, I
Was it
forgot
for
what it was. Yeah.
was it for music or was it for
Oh,
actual
the
art?
music one. I think it's on the tip of my tongue. I think it's Epidemic Sound.
Okay,
I do want to get that. I tried and I don't.
sure.
Then yeah, I'm not great with computers, but
Yeah,
I
I
can
have a
always.
Mac, so I've been lucky enough to find some free programs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that for uh, artwork, transitions in Adobe Premiere, but that's still I got to put hours of work into learning Premiere and editing. So, but
That's
that's another
that. Like I
project
said,
I'm on the
that's my
road.
thing. It's like I do want to learn that too, but it's like I just
Yeah.
like to make videos, make you know what I mean.
No,
But I do
I
want to learn at least the basics.
there's nothing that beats the live and the conversation that goes on in the background, and it actually helps maneuver the show. It takes it in different paths due to the people's questions and things like that. So it's always much appreciated to people in the comments.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
were you? Yeah. Um, you're still kind of working out your channel, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I had the OSA video I wanted to do, but I'm sort of waiting on Mark Headley to put out one more of his OSA doc videos, just so when I put mine out, it's not like, what is this guy talking about? I
No,
just
I think that's
I
an
want
amazing
to,
video.
yeah, I'd like to have it fresh in their mind.
Well, we could. Well, not me, but that's your thing. You could do. You could do. It doesn't even have to be real ones. You could just do like a. You know what I mean? A parody one.
Oh no, it is. It's going to be completely parody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to have it. I just want to have the actual real OSA document videos uh,
Yeah.
fresh in people's minds. So when I put out the parody, it's like, oh, he's talking about these OSA document videos. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I did it. And that's the
So
problem with the Clearwater Chad character right now is Brad's not putting out anything. You know,
yeah.
because
Oh,
you
is
know
he?
what I
He
mean?
went. He went
Yeah,
radio silent.
yeah. So it's kind of hard. I
Oh,
do
that's a
whatever.
bummer.
But you know, it's
The
better if
Tampa,
he comes out with stuff.
And Tampa Brad was hooked up with what? Grant Cardone? Is that how that worked?
Grant Cardone was like his idol, or is his idol.
Yeah. 10X.
But it's like,
Oh,
yeah, so he speaks freely about stuff he shouldn't about. That he could potentially even get in trouble with Scientology.
So Brad's a Scientologist himself.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, is he like OT or is he just sort of
I don't quote
doing
me.
the
It's been
basics?
a while since I think he did like the student hat and communications and.
Sure.
But his thing is he's got like the org board in back of him saying about all his games and stuff. So
Hey,
it's funny as hell.
you say you haven't heard from him. Maybe he's in the army.
I think he's public, but you never know. I mean,
but still,
he I don't know. It hasn't been that long, but I mean, at this point, my character Clearwater Chad, I have no problem doing whatever video I feel like doing. You know what I mean? In character.
yeah. Juliana said he's super beginner, so yeah, I could
Okay.
believe
She
that.
knows more. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to catch up on what Tampa Brad is. I think it would make me understand your character. Not that I need to understand your character to understand, what kind of a
Yeah.
guy
No.
you
Yeah.
are.
We'll
But
watch one or two of his videos, and
yeah,
like I said, I did a couple of them like him, but
yeah.
No offense to him, no offense, Brad, if you're watching, but he's pretty boring. So I can't really parody him. I just got to go nuts with my own thing. You know what I mean? You got to mix it up a little.
No offense, he's pretty boring.
You'll see that
Love it.
people in the beginning. Obviously, I don't do as many videos now, but in the beginning, people were like, "I can't even watch the guy, so I'll just watch Clearwater Chad." And now people are saying they don't even call him. They don't call him Tampa Brad anymore. Some people they call him Clearwater Brad. So like he's a parody of me now.
Oh my gosh. Came full circle, Chad.
Yeah, it is. I don't ever want to forget about the character because that's the cornerstone of my channel, and people like that. So we're just trying to add things because, in my opinion, anyone that creates an SPTV channel, I know this is a pretty bold statement, but Scientology is going to fall, I think, sooner than people realize. So you want to be diverse. You don't want to just have Scientology or non-Scientology content.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And you're doing that, and like I said, once I find my niche, I will go in that way too.
Before we talked slightly before we went on, you might try something, and not that it goes bad, but you're like, I'm not really into that as much. So you kind of veer off and you find something you're really interested in.
Sure.
And things play out. Like I did the top 10 Buffalo monuments, but you only could do so many of those. So
unless they start building more.
Right. And then the waterfalls, I still like doing them. So it's like eventually we're gonna have to find something else though, but that's half the fun of it.
Well, also, like we did here with the questions and such, I don't mind going back and forth with you and putting some ideas together. I think these are pretty fun chats. So
I was going to touch on that too with some characters. I don't know if you want to talk more offline about that, but yeah.
We're not going to spoil it for
audience. Because I got things up my sleeve that, and you can't force someone to think the same as you, but it's like I try to give hints about what direction.
Oh, sure, I'd be definitely interested in that. Definitely interested. Well, let's start looking at it, see if there's any questions. I mean, I'd like to wrap it up over an hour, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine, because I got to know live at 3 with
Joe
DeCeppo.
And what was I going to say? The pre-show yesterday. How'd that go? I wasn't able to make that. I was.
Oh, no worries. Let me think here. Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of people. I think about 6 people on, so it went really
cool.
Good.
I hope to make it next week. I am gonna.
All right, cool.
Try to adjust my schedule. I love talking to the other people in there. Just get to know them. Great group of people you invite there.
People like the pre-show, so we're gonna keep doing it as long as possible. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yep. Well, I'm getting a new computer desk. Like I'm constantly trying to upgrade this little home studio I got here, but
I think it looks great. And, it's got to be you. I mean, like I said, my stuff is purposely not perfect. I got the typewriters in back, a painting, and some books and stuff.
But it's perfectly you, though, Chad.
Thanks. I try to display everything people got me, so I have everything in the background. Usually I have it up here, but I was running late this morning.
Yeah, I have my signed copy of Amy's book. Who was kind enough to. I think even Matt signed it.
Wow.
Yeah, Amy and Matt. Matt's such a great guy. He is so. I don't want to say underrated, but he. And I think I said this before. Someone's got to do a great interview of Matt because he has so many stories to tell. He's been there so long and held such high positions, and it's just such a straight shooter in terms of the way he tells how he, how he operated there. He just sort of was of the attitude of not giving an F, and I mean that's straight from Amy's mouth, but uh, someone has to do a good long form interview with him because he's a wealth of knowledge, and I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
The Biddy interview the other day too, it was great too. I don't know if you saw that.
I think I missed that one as
Mark
well.
and Janice, Mark and Janice's channel. Chad, I thought I was the one slacking on watching that.
Well, no, I was going to touch. I did touch. I did. That's funny because I did touch on this a little bit, but there's so many channels. But not only that, like I'll still watch the Aaron stuff, but
Sure.
like if Aaron has 4 videos, I might watch 1 per day because I think it is my opinion. So, I'm trying to support the smaller creators like we are. Like I'll watch Cult Conversations. I'll watch Scientology Good Geek. I'll watch a lot of the and comment on them. Try to give the smaller channels.
A couple of those names, I gotta, if you don't mind emailing me them, I'd like to check those out as well.
Yeah, because I think that's like I said, people. I don't forget the few times in life that people have went out of their way that didn't need to help me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pass that forward. Someone help me.
Pay it forward, my man.
Yeah, pay it forward. Why not? And then hopefully, I mean, we're trying to grow the community. If I help 5 people and 3 people pay it forward, or even 1, that's a success. And we all with the pre-show, we all help each other.
You're doing your part. You're keeping your side of the street clean and happy, and I don't know. You're doing great, Chad.
You were on the one Chadathon, right? At least one.
No, not the Chadathon, but I don't know. Maybe next time.
You're welcome to come because we're gonna keep whatever the need is. We're not gonna push it, but when we hear somebody needs either the aftermath, Liz Ferris, or Mike's set right now. But if anyone in our community, needs something, we're gonna be there. Mainly the aftermath, but whatever.
And it is amazing the amount of money we've raised. I know last time me and you went live, we raised. We didn't raise it on the live, but we did announce how much we raised for Goldie for her birthday, and she was just going to mention extremely appreciative.
And you're the one that started that, so
I started it, but the community was the ones who really stepped up big. And I think it came out to $375 or $475, something like that. It was a great number. She was absolutely stunned. I couldn't be more happy for her because, this is it's a thankless. Well, I don't want to say a thankless job because you see how many people thank her.
No, I mean,
the amount of time she
dedicates more work than the creators, I think.
Yeah, the amount of time she dedicates to it is amazing, and any little thing I could do for her birthday, and actually I should take that back. Any little thing the community could do for her birthday was just.
I thought that was a great idea. At least, I mean, like I said, you had the initial idea, followed through, and got her the money. That's all huge.
Yeah. So I'm really happy for her. If we have any questions, I'd like to just go over them, and otherwise, let's catch up and let's do something next week or maybe even later on in the week.
I'll go on with you.
I know you're a busy guy, Chad. Oh, I appreciate it.
I got time for this stuff. Yeah.
This was fun.
Jeez, I can't even believe we talked for an hour. Next time we'll pick a different. My fault. We booked this time. I didn't have my planner on me. Marilyn was on at the same time, but it's okay.
Was she? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna watch her replay, and she's gonna watch mine, and so everyone could do the same. Yes. And it's a good thing that we we're making so many. We're both smaller creators, and we're both going on at the same time. And there's people watching both channels. Isn't that amazing?
It's great. It's totally great. It's mind blowing.
It's great.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't
So,
forget everyone. Not I know we're kind of trying to wind down, so don't forget everyone. Anyone that's into the history, we'll have Mark Turi on again Saturday, 1 p.m. Clearwater time. That's a great show.
I think you said it right that time, Chad.
What's that?
I know you struggle with his name sometimes.
Oh, I do struggle. I do struggle. Yeah.
You said it perfect that time.
I'm not good with names at all. Anyone's name, you know. I got your name wrong too. Remember the one
last time? Yeah. It's a Ian Owen. So many people mess that.
I want to talk to you after the stream about that. How we can mess with some stuff if you want.
Hey, I appreciate it. We got any questions? Otherwise, I guess we'll wrap this thing up, and then we'll take it offline, and we'll go from there, bud.
Yeah, definitely.
Just make sure you didn't miss any super chats or anything like that.
Yeah, I'll page up too. Lewis, thank you guys for the 2 super chats, Rogue and Tampa B Man. Appreciate it really a lot.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy. I think he said he owned some sort of sporting facility. I may be thinking of something different in Tampa.
Tampa B Man, I think, is a lady.
Oh.
I know it's confusing when she calls herself Tampa B Man. I forgot her real name.
Well, then maybe she owns some sort of sporting.
Okay.
Facility. I might be wrong.
I don't know. I don't know either way. That'd be cool though.
Witness says, "Thank you, Pete and Chad. Nice to meet you, Pete. Oh, appreciate it so much, Witness.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We're definitely. I'll go on anytime with you, Pete. This is really natural. You know.
Yeah.
Really. You know.
I love it. I love it, Chad.
All right. I'll talk to you after the stream, guys.
Hey, take care.
See you guys.
Yep.
Where'd you go?